Hey, this is Sasha. Thanks for joining me in today's video. And what I want to share with you today are the 8 common mistakes that many people make when they're first starting out and trying to create their online video course. So stay tuned. I'll share with you some tips and insights to kind of dominating or getting past these hurdles. By the way, if you're brand new to the channel, be sure to check out the Backstage Income freebies section right here. And when you go to the freebies, there's a ton of great free material, PDFs, cheat sheets, and checklists that you could go ahead and download. Anyway, to kick things off, let's start out with number 1, and that is creating your course your audience does not want is one of the biggest mistakes that many course creators make. So what they do is they go ahead and say, hey, I want to go ahead and make and create a course, but unfortunately the problem is nobody wants your course. And that's because you made a course that nobody wants. So you have to have an audience kind of first. I always say, you have to build almost 2 of them in tangent if you're just brand new getting started. However, if you already have an audience, it's great because now you understand what your audience wants, and then you create a course for that audience, because it's already the content, the topics, the subjects that you're already talking about more than likely. So you can just create a detailed course more specific to that. If you're doing photography and you're talking a lot about photography, well, it might be more specific that, hey, you're talking about baby photography or newborn photography, rather than maybe creating a course for wedding photographers that are doing more wedding photography. So again, being more specific and creating a course that your audience wants and needs, that's a big issue for many people, because they create something that, hey, I think this course will work because I want to create a course on this, or because there's more money in that industry. But unfortunately, it's not what your audience wants. Okay, so that's kind of number 1. Number 2 is not keeping your content fresh or updated. Think of those old Excel books or Word, let's say 1995 or Windows 95 books. Maybe you don't even remember what Windows 95 is. But the thing is that if you have course content that is old and expires with time, then you need to keep your content fresh and updated. It's different if you're doing things like welding techniques or woodworking techniques that people are using, and those typically don't change from year to year. But if you're doing things that are more software-based, technology-based, the techniques may change. You need to keep your course fresh and updated. So it's very important you keep that in mind. For me, I always try to make courses that are a little bit more timeless, but things do change with time, and you may need to keep things updated and fresh. All right, number 3 issue is not asking for feedback. And even though you may not take action on the feedback right away in your course, like let's say somebody says, hey, you're missing a module in this, I wish you would have covered that in more detail. And if you keep seeing that, what you may decide to do is maybe you don't add that to that course, but you may actually create a sub-course where you add it or include it as a bonus, or you may go ahead and create a secondary course that's more specific to that, because it's just so much more information. But the point is asking for feedback can give you some insight. Doesn't mean you'll totally change everything, or doesn't mean you have to take action on the feedback, but it'll give you some insight to that, in which case then maybe you decide to tweak things in the future of future course production. Okay, number 4 is not knowing your hard and soft costs, which is basically not knowing your numbers. Your hard costs are your financials. So for example, if you need to pay a video editor, if you have to rent video equipment, if you need to go ahead and pay people to, let's just say, proofread your course, or do any kind of thing where finances are needed, then that's knowing and understanding your hard costs. So let's say your course generates $100,000 of revenue. That's all great and fantastic. What's the problem? Well, if it costs you $350,000 to get it going and to produce it, the numbers just did not make sense then. In that case, you're losing money on your course. So you have to understand your financials. The soft costs are more of your time, your energy. If you understand that, hey, maybe I'll put in a lot more time and energy, but I won't have a lot of the extra expenses if I hired, an extra writer, a proofreader, and I did that myself, then now you're kind of understanding, hey, what are my end financials going to be? Now, sometimes it's important that you go ahead and do the work yourself, because some people just don't understand the content. Other times you may want to outsource certain things, and that'll help save you time. But understanding that you will have some hard costs and some soft costs. Hard costs are your financials, your actual numbers and your dollar figures. The soft costs are kind of your time and energy that you have to put into the production value to getting the thing complete. In this case, it would be your course. So if you're over budget on your financials, that's not going to be a profitable course. If you spent too much time, let's say 10 years to produce a course, that again is also not a good thing. So recognize where your costs are. Number 5 is creating a course that's too big. And this is all about, I think, understanding the audience. So too big is all relative, right? Some people may say, oh, 5 hours is too big. Other people say 10 hours is too big. Other people say 20 hours is too big. And I will tell you, it's all relative to your audience. So if you look at my Rise to Learn website, where we deal with a lot of investments, and people who are dealing with hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars in their investment accounts or are learning to invest, they are okay with spending quite a bit of time on their investments. So for example, here's one of the recent courses we've launched, and this course is 24 hours long and has 65 modules. So it's pretty big. If you actually look at the breakdown of, let me see if it has it here. 24 hours. There's some courses that I have that actually have a breakdown of every single video. Here's another one that I have that's 18 hours long. And here you can see every video here, an hour and 7 minutes for that one, 28 minutes for that one. So is that course too long? No, people buy it left and right. And why do they buy it? Because it's a subject matter that needs some time and it needs to be worked on. For example, if you're showing people and you're doing a course maybe on how to create a paper craft, that could be maybe a 40-minute course. Whereas a course on investments, people are sure to take the extra time when they're dealing with thousands of dollars to make sure that they learn and understand the concepts, especially in something that's a little bit more advanced. So here's all the modules, and you can see the length of all of them. Yes, some are shorter, some are longer, but the point is you got to understand your audience to see, hey, are those the type of people that are really interested and serious about dealing with this in a long form fashion, or are they just kind of a quick person that just needs a 40-minute or 3-hour tutorial? And if that's the case, then you got to keep your course to those people and those audience. Keep it the 3 hours long. But if they need something more lengthy and in more detail, then make it more lengthy and in detail. It depends on the subject matter, right? The complexity of the subject and the type of audience that you have. So again, it's not that a 5-hour course is better than a 10-hour course. It's just what does your audience need and what is the subject matter also required to be able to cover that in appropriate detail. All right, let's look at issue or problem number 6, and that is having bad content. So this comes all along with from the previous issue where, hey, you might have a 1 or 2 hour investment course, and that may sound good, but people might be leaving that course feeling unknowledgeable or not understanding the concepts. So that's kind of the issue and problem that I saw in my industry. So I started creating more detailed courses when I was dealing with investments and option trading. So in your case, it's the same thing here. If you have a bad quality content, if the content is bad, it's people can't hear you, it's not presented right, it's just the content material doesn't make sense, it doesn't flow well, they don't understand you, then that's just not going to work out. So make sure your quality of content is high end, high quality, detailed, and to the point, because they're paying you to either learn that information, understand that information, or get an inside look into that information. So make sure it's good or great for that matter. Number 7 is overpricing your course. So if, let's say, hey, you're selling how to save money on car insurance and how to save $100 on car insurance every single year. Well, that may sound all good and I'd be willing to pay for that if the course was maybe $5 or $19 or even $47. If it was $100, I don't know if I would pay for that because I'm only saving $100 and I'm paying $100. So let's say it was a $1,000 course. Now you're overpricing your course because I'm only going to save $100 maybe per year and the course is $1,000. It doesn't make sense. The numbers don't make sense. So you have to be careful that you're not overpricing your course or audience. In my case, I have an audience who are investors. They typically have some side cash or income, so they have money to pay for $400 or $500 courses. In your case, if you're dealing with maybe somebody who's struggling, trying to get out of debt, your course or book or whatever product might need to be only $19 or $9 or $49. Going beyond that limit, it may be a stretch because they don't have the money, they don't have the funds. So you might be overpricing things in that industry or for that audience. So be very careful. And then number 8 is bad timing on your launch. If you're in the Christmas season and people are going out Christmas shopping, you may think that's a great time to launch your course, but people are busy. They're during the holidays, they're spending their money, they're not maybe interested in your course or material. They're not interested in starting a business right away during the Christmas time. They're just too busy. They don't have the cash flow. They don't have the extra money. They're spending things on crock pots and Keurigs and new toasters and gifts and toys and that kind of stuff. They're not interested maybe in learning. Maybe after the new year, it might be a better time to launch. So you have to think accordingly how to properly time your launch. How do I do it? Do I do it in the summer? Do I do it in the winter? Do I do it before Christmas? Do I do it during Thanksgiving? Do I do it during Christmas? Sometimes, depending on your product, it may be the right opportunity to do it during Christmas. But again, it really just depends on your audience. So understanding your course and your audience, your material, your demographics, all that kind of stuff is important. For me, for example, a lot of my peak sales happen September to November, and then again from kind of mid-January to kind of March, April. That summer season's a little slow, people are on vacation and that kind of stuff. I still do get sales during that time frame, but it's not as prominent as maybe the regular winter season, just because I'm dealing with more investments, businesses, that kind of stuff. For you, again, it might be a little bit different. So anyways, I hope you found this video helpful, insightful. Those are kind of the 8 tips and common problems that people have when they're trying to launch and get their course going. If you did enjoy that video, feel free to check out some other freebies that I have by clicking the link right over here. And of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're brand new. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.